On March 28th, General Greene ended his pursuit of Cornwallis's army and decided to head for South Carolina. He has lost most of his militia by this point, and his army is now around 2,000 strong. Greene's thinking is that he can lure Cornwallis back into South Carolina and free North Carolina and Virginia to send men and supplies to him once again. If Cornwallis doesn't come back, then he will have a free hand to begin destroying the numerous outposts the British have established throughout South Carolina. Cornwallis's army is in Wilmington, North Carolina throughout most of April. There he decides that he will take his army into Virginia. Similar to General Greene, Cornwallis is hoping that he can lure his opponent away, and that this will allow Georgia and South Carolina to hopefully get their insurgencies under control. If Greene does not follow Cornwallis, then he will have a free hand to wage harsh warfare upon Virginia, the richest colony of the rebelling 13. There, he will also be reinforced by the British troops that were already raiding in the Chesapeake region. General Greene will spend the summer of 1781 maneuvering the British out of one outpost after another, slowly pushing them towards the coast. He loses every battle he commands, but like Guilford Courthouse, the British are the ones who suffer worse casualties and find themselves in untenable logistical situations. Greene best describes the character of the war in the South in the phrase, "We fight, get beat, rise, and fight again." But the war in South Carolina wasn't an inevitable victory march. The entire time he is pushing towards Charleston, Greene is still having to manage supply shortages because efforts to oppose Cornwallis's presence in Virginia are pulling away troops and supplies that were meant to be sent to him. The Civil War continues to rage in the backcountry as well, and Greene is dismayed at the routine atrocities and bloodshed that continue in the South. But by the end of 1781, Greene succeeds in trapping the British in their coastal strongholds of Charleston and Savannah. Guilford Courthouse was just one of several key battles that slowly changed the war in the southern colonies. British Commander-in-Chief Sir Henry Clinton expressed the following sentiment when he considered the impact of the Battle of Kings Mountain. He said that it was the first link in a chain of evils that followed each other in regular succession until they at last ended in the total loss of America. Kings Mountain, Cowpens, Guilford Courthouse. Each one was a link in that chain of evils. Each one nudged the British war effort closer and closer to disaster. Guilford Courthouse finally broke General Cornwallis's will to try and win hearts and minds in the South. In turn, Cornwallis moved into Virginia, seeking to wage more traditional, aggressive war in order to subdue the American rebels. But he ended up isolating himself and was eventually surrounded by French and American forces commanded by Rochambeau and Washington, and forced to surrender at Yorktown in October 1781. That surrender was what finally destroyed Britain's political will to continue the war. Early in 1782, a new ministry was formed in Parliament, and one of its central goals was to finally end the war and recognize American independence.